Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the book of Deuteronomy. We're still in Deuteronomy chapter 5. We're looking at the 10 Commandments. Today we're looking at chapter 5, verse 18, which is the 7th commandment. And it says very simply, "You shall not commit adultery." You shall not commit adultery. Now we see immediately there's a connection between commandments number 5 and number 7, both emphasizing the importance of the family. Strong, healthy, godly families are essential to a strong, healthy, godly society and culture. And so the 5th commandment dealt with the relationship between parents and children, making for strong families. Honor your father and your mother. That was the 5th commandment. And the 7th commandment deals with strong marriages, relationships between husbands and wives. You shall not commit adultery. Now, obviously, we know what the commandment means. You are to be faithful to your spouse. Husbands, you are to be faithful to your wives. Wives, you are to be faithful to your husbands. And you are not to pollute the relationship by having other relationships. You are not to adulterate your relationship with your spouse by having a relationship with another person. You shall not commit adultery. We can see how important this command is to maintaining the dignity and the strength and the solidity of marriages. Because a strong marriage creates strong parents and strong family, a healthy environment for children to be raised in. But you know, when we get to the New Testament, Jesus lets us know that the commandment about adultery does not just mean you are to be physically faithful to your spouse. Certainly it does mean that. But also means you are to be spiritually and emotionally faithful. You see, you can commit adultery in your mind and with your emotions and in your spirit, even if physically you maintain faithfulness. So Jesus makes us understand you must be faithful to your spouse, not only physically, yes indeed, but also spiritually and emotionally. That's what Jesus says about this in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 5, verses 27 and 28. He says, "You have heard that it was said, 'You shall not commit adultery.' But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart." You see, Jesus is saying you can't pollute the marriage relationship by emotional unfaithfulness or spiritual unfaithfulness. So not only must you be absolutely committed to your spouse, husbands to their wives, wives to the husbands, physically, yes, you must be physically faithful, but also you must be spiritually faithful and emotionally faithful. You must maintain the strength of your marital bond, because that is the foundation of a strong family, and of course, it makes for good parents who can raise their children in a healthy and godly way. So in Commandments 5 and 7, Jesus makes it clear that we must strive to build strong families in our culture. This is expected of God's people. Children must honor their parents. Parents must provide godly nurture and instruction for the children. Commandment 5. Parents, husband and wives, must be committed absolutely to one another and do nothing to adulterate or contaminate their relationship with one another. They must be faithful physically, emotionally, and spiritually. These are the building blocks for a good society and a strong culture and a strong nation. You know, there's a place in the Bible where it says, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord." And that is truly a blessing when we recognize that God is our Lord. And we recognize that He's our Lord. We recognize He wants strong families. And so we'll follow the 5th and the 7th commandments certainly to maintain those strong families, strong marriages, and strong, healthy relationships between husband and wives and also between parents and children. That's what Commandments 5 and 7 talk about. You have a great day today. Hope you join us tomorrow as we continue looking at the 10 Commandments in our 5-minute Bible study in the book of Deuteronomy.